business book summaries.
Turning pages, changing games, where every book is a new frontier.
Dare to Lead by Brené Brown is a comprehensive guide on brave leadership, offering insightful perspectives on how to cultivate daring leaders and embed courage in organizational cultures. This book builds on Brown's previous works on vulnerability, courage, and connection, and provides a blueprint for applying these concepts to leadership. Based on extensive research with leaders and changemakers across various industries and organizations, Brown emphasizes that daring leadership is about recognizing the potential in people and ideas and having the courage to develop that potential. It's about sharing power and fostering collaboration instead of hoarding power and maintaining hierarchies. The book is structured around 4 key skill sets that Brown identifies as essential to daring leadership. Rumbling with vulnerability. This involves engaging in tough conversations, asking the right questions, and being open to different perspectives. Brown stresses the importance of leaning into vulnerability as a means of fostering meaningful connections and growth. Living into our values, leaders need to clearly define their values and consistently act in accordance with them. This alignment between values and actions helps build trust and integrity in the workplace. Braving trust. Trust is a crucial aspect of leadership that needs to be built and maintained over time. Brown introduces the acronym BRAVING to outline the elements of trust, boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, keeping confidences, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. Learning to rise, effective leaders must be able to recover from setbacks and failures, learning from their experiences to become more resilient and adaptive. Brown acknowledges the challenges of daring leadership in a culture defined by scarcity, fear, and uncertainty, but emphasizes the importance of investing in the development of empathy, connection, and courage. These are traits that are deeply human and cannot be replicated by machines or AI. Dare to Lead combines research, stories, and examples to illustrate the practical application of these principles. Brown's approachable and no-nonsense style makes the book accessible to a wide audience, from experienced leaders to those just starting out in their careers. The book is a call to action for anyone looking to step up as a leader, whether in a professional or personal context. Brown's message is clear: daring leadership requires bravery, vulnerability, and a commitment to living into our values, and it is worth the effort for the impact it can have on our lives and work.
Before we delve further, remember that we regularly share new content. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Business Book Summaries and hit the notification bell for the latest updates.
Summary of Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. In Dare to Lead, Brené Brown explores the challenges faced by leaders in today's fast-paced and complex environments. Brown conducted interviews with leaders across various sectors, asking what skills are essential for success in such demanding times. Although the responses varied, a common theme emerged: the need for braver leaders and more courageous cultures. When asked to define courage and brave leadership, many leaders struggled, often considering courage as something innate. They also highlighted problematic behaviours and cultural norms that erode trust and courage. A key issue identified was the tendency to avoid tough conversations and shy away from providing honest, constructive feedback. Some attributed this to a lack of courage, while others pointed to inadequate skills. Additionally, a culture of politeness often serves as an excuse to avoid difficult discussions, leading to a lack of clarity and fostering passive-aggressive behaviour, such as speaking about others behind their backs. These challenges often stem from deep-seated human issues. However, Brown's research uncovered a hopeful insight. Courage is not an inborn trait, but a set of 4 skill sets that can be learned, observed, and measured. These skills are rumbling with vulnerability, embracing the courage to have tough conversations and deal with uncertainty and risk. Living into our values, aligning actions with deeply held values to build trust and integrity. Braving trust, developing and maintaining trust using the acronym. Braving, boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, generosity. Learning to rise, resilience, and learning from setbacks to become stronger and more adaptive. Throughout the book, Brown provides guidance on how to cultivate these skills and offers tools and practices for incorporating them into daily life. By building these skills, you can grow into a daring leader. Chapter 1. Lean into vulnerability. Vulnerability, according to Brené Brown, is about showing up and being open even when the outcome is uncertain. It can take many forms, from starting a new relationship after a divorce to discussing race with your team. Vulnerability is not easy. It often brings feelings of fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. Despite these challenges, vulnerability is not a weakness. In 2014, Brown asked soldiers to describe a courageous act that did not involve vulnerability. None could do so. This demonstrates that vulnerability is not just tied to difficult emotions, but is also necessary for acts of courage. Vulnerability is intertwined with other emotions, including love, joy, and belonging. It is also the foundation of creativity and innovation, since these processes inherently involve risk and potential failure. As comedian Amy Poehler says, it's very hard to have ideas. It's very hard to put yourself out there. It's very hard to be vulnerable. But those who do are the dreamers, the thinkers, and the creators, the magic people of the world. In conclusion, daring leadership requires the ability to engage in difficult conversations, provide honest feedback, and demonstrate resilience, all skills that stem from vulnerability. Embracing these challenges can lead to transformative growth and impactful leadership. Chapter 2: Daring Leaders Provide Tough, Honest Feedback. In Dare to Lead, Brené Brown shares her experience of facing tough feedback in the early days of building her company. During a team meeting, Brown was taken aback when her CFO, Charles, expressed concerns about her approach to managing time. Charles noted that Brown often set unrealistic deadlines, which put immense pressure on her team and led to burnout. While the criticism was hard to hear, Brown appreciated the clarity and directness of the feedback. She understood that being clear and honest is an act of kindness, whereas sugarcoating the truth or leaving things unsaid can be detrimental. By not providing clear expectations or avoiding difficult conversations, leaders risk creating confusion and frustration among their team members. For instance, Brown's team found it demoralizing when she pitched ideas and timelines that were impossible to achieve. When they pushed back on her expectations, Brown would sometimes react as though they were crushing her dreams. This misalignment caused tension and hindered productivity. Brown emphasizes that leaders must either invest time in addressing concerns and feelings up front or end up spending excessive time managing unproductive behavior. This can involve having the same conversation repeatedly or misinterpreting someone's behavior as defiant or challenging. To resolve such issues, Brown advises leaders to pause, listen, and seek to understand the root cause. When facing difficult conversations, leaders should stop talking and genuinely listen without planning their response in advance. Allow the other person to speak openly and keep space for them to share their perspective. It's also essential to set boundaries and manage emotions during discussions. For example, while it's okay to be angry, it's not okay to yell. It's fine to be frustrated, but not to interrupt or roll your eyes at someone. Brown recommends taking a break when meetings become unproductive. Call a timeout and give everyone a few minutes to gather their thoughts and calm down. This approach fosters open communication and promotes a healthier work environment. By embracing clear, honest, and kind feedback, daring leaders can create a culture of trust, accountability, and growth within their teams. In Dare to Lead, Brené Brown emphasizes the importance of core values as a guiding force in life's decisions. In the workplace, which can often feel like an intense arena filled with distractions, pressures, and skeptics, it's easy to lose track of what drives us. Sometimes, the noise can be so overwhelming that we might want to back away and abandon our goals. When this happens, we may lose sight of our own inner voice and the very reasons we entered the arena in the first place. Brown points out that it is our values that often draw us into the arena. We take risks and face challenges because of our beliefs. So when things don't go according to plan, our values help us remember why we embarked on the journey. These values act as a North Star, guiding us through difficult times and providing clarity when we face setbacks. Daring leaders stay true to their core values and are clear about their beliefs. They strive to align their intentions, words, thoughts, and actions with their values. This alignment keeps them on track, even when the going gets tough. So, how do you determine your own North Star? What values do you hold most sacred? It is crucial to take the time to identify and name them. People often wonder whether they should prioritize personal or professional values, but in reality, we have just one set of values. These values should remain consistent across all areas of our lives. To identify your core values, begin by listing values that are important to you. This list may initially include many, sometimes between 10 and 15. However, narrowing them down to just 2 central values is key. Why just 2? When you have too many values on your list, none truly guide your behavior, making them just words without deep meaning. Brown herself identifies her core values as faith and courage. Although her family is of utmost importance to her, she doesn't choose it as a core value because her commitment to her family is rooted in her faith and courage. For instance, when she declines an exciting work opportunity to spend time with her family, she is leaning into her values of courage and faith. By choosing 1 or 2 core values and holding them close, you establish a foundation to help navigate life's challenges. Your values become a source of strength and direction, helping you stay true to yourself and your goals, even in the most trying circumstances. Chapter 4. Use the Braving Inventory to establish trust. Trust is crucial in any relationship, especially in a professional setting. When we feel our trustworthiness is being questioned, we may become defensive, emotionally shutting down and struggling to process the situation. Trust can be hard to discuss, yet it is the foundation of strong teams and organizations. According to Charles Feltman, trust involves risking something you value and making it vulnerable to another person's actions. Distrust, on the other hand, is the decision that what is important to us is not safe with a particular person or in a certain situation. To define and establish trust, Brené Brown developed the Braving Inventory, an acronym that outlines 7 behaviors that help encourage trust and assess strengths and weaknesses in a working relationship. B. Boundaries. This means respecting each other's boundaries and asking questions when you are unsure about what's appropriate. It also involves being willing to say no when necessary. R. Reliability. Keeping your promises and delivering on commitments. This means being aware of your capabilities and limitations, ensuring you do not overpromise. A. Accountability. Taking responsibility for your actions, admitting mistakes, and making amends when necessary. V. Vault. Treating your mind as a safe storage for information shared with you. You should respect confidences and avoid sharing details that aren't yours to share. I. Integrity. Choosing courage over comfort, doing what is right rather than what is easy or expedient, and consistently living according to your values. N. Non-judgment. Being open to asking for help and discussing your feelings without fear of judgment. G. Generosity. Assuming positive intentions in others and giving them the benefit of the doubt. By practicing the Braving Inventory, you can cultivate an environment of trust and establish yourself as a daring, courageous, and trustworthy leader. Chapter 5. Learn how to fail. Learning how to navigate failure is crucial for any daring leader. Much like preparing for a skydive, you must know how to brace for a hard landing to avoid serious injuries. Similarly, in leadership, being brave and taking risks involves preparing for possible failures. Brené Brown discovered that teaching resilience skills in advance is critical for building courageous leaders. Teaching resilience after a setback is like instructing first-time skydivers how to land after they've already jumped. By learning how to manage falling and failing in advance, people become more prepared and more willing to take courageous risks. This approach also tells leaders that failure is an expected part of the journey, but there is a plan in place for handling it. By failing to teach resilient skills in their organizations, companies deter their teams from becoming brave leaders. With millennials representing a large portion of the workforce, teaching resilience and the ability to embrace failure is increasingly important. Many millennials have not learned how to navigate tough conversations and may rely on technology to avoid direct confrontations. Brown's company emphasizes teaching resilience and failing skills right away to help their teams learn to handle failure as a learning opportunity. By providing training on resilience and open discussions around failure, companies can foster bravery and broaden perspectives among their employees. Chapter 6. The Myth of Perfectionism. From a young age, we are conditioned to avoid pain and disappointment, leading us to build barriers around ourselves for protection. But if we want to be daring, courageous leaders, we must embrace vulnerability and break down these walls. This involves recognizing and challenging our thoughts and behaviors that serve as defense mechanisms. Sometimes, these barriers can cause us more harm than good. By acknowledging our tendencies towards perfectionism and the impact they have on our ability to take risks and grow, we can begin to challenge these self-imposed limits. Overcoming perfectionism allows us to rise above our fears and take meaningful steps towards our goals. The mythology surrounding perfectionism. In the first chapter, we discussed the misconceptions about vulnerability, and now it's time to explore the myths around perfectionism. One common misconception is that perfectionism is about striving for excellence, but in reality, it is not about healthy achievement and growth. Instead, perfectionism is a defensive strategy, not a path to self-improvement. At its core, perfectionism involves seeking approval from others. Many perfectionists grew up being praised for accomplishments and performance in areas like academics, manners, or sports. Over time, they internalized the belief that their worth is tied to what they achieve and how well they achieve it. A healthy pursuit of excellence focuses on personal improvement with questions like, how can I do better? In contrast, perfectionism centers on pleasing others, asking, what will people think? This mindset is linked to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis, avoiding opportunities for fear of failure, mistakes, or criticism. Perfectionism is self-destructive and addictive because perfection is an impossible standard. It focuses on external perceptions rather than internal motivation and growth. No matter how hard we try, we cannot control how others perceive us. Perfectionism becomes addictive when we attribute our vulnerable feelings, like shame and blame, to not being perfect enough. Instead of questioning this flawed logic, we often double down on striving for perfection. A daring leader, however, lets go of the armor of perfectionism and accepts that failure and mistakes are part of the journey. This understanding helps develop the courage needed to become a successful, daring leader. Final summary: in today's world, leadership is becoming less courageous and authentic. Brené Brown believes that this calls for a revolution. We need to shed our armor, embrace vulnerability, live true to our values, trust with open hearts, and learn to rise so we can reclaim control of our own narratives and lives. Brown sees the pursuit of courage as an act of rebellion. This rebellion involves questioning everything we thought we knew about leadership and committing to being daring leaders who choose authenticity, vulnerability, and courage.
We're keen to hear your thoughts on our content. Feel free to share your opinions or recommend books in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Business Book Summaries and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest summaries. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.